The stark, cold blue light of the laptop screen cuts through the warm, heavy shadows of our wooden house. It is past 10 at night. Alex is slumped in the rickety wooden chair, his shoulders heavy with a day's worth of soil and sweat. His index finger hovers over the mouse, resting dead center on the green Approve Payment button for our main agricultural supplier. He just wants to click it. He just wants the screen to go dark so he can finally sleep. But before his finger can press down, Tuna reaches out from the quiet darkness and grips his wrist. Hard. Her hands are calloused from hours of pulling stubborn weeds this morning, her knuckles rough in the glow of the monitor. She leans in close to the screen, her dark eyes narrowing at the endless rows of digital numbers and the pristine corporate logo sitting at the top of the invoice. For Alex, hitting that pay button is just the final exhausting chore of an endless day. But for Tuna, looking at a sum of money this large, the stakes are fiercely personal. That total isn't just a routine business expense. It is Henry's future, his safety net, and the physical toll of their hard work. Welcome back to our home. If you've been with us for a while, you know our life here in the village is built on dirt, sweat, and the fragile peace of careful planning. But tonight, the threat to our farm isn't a bad harvest or a sudden storm. It is a silent, invisible drain buried deep inside a routine computer screen. And Tuna, a woman who prefers the reliability of the soil, is refusing to let Alex hit that button. Let me take you back just a little bit to show you how a mother's intuition works, even in a world of digital receipts. The evening had started like any other at the farm, wrapping us in familiar, grounding routines. Outside, the steady chirping of the crickets echoed over the dark fields. By the bamboo front door, Alex's heavy, mud-caked boots sat drying next to Henry's tiny, bright yellow plastic sandals, a silent reminder of exactly who we are working for. In the dim kitchen, the scent of garlic and warm leftover rice lingered as Tuna finished wiping the wooden table. The physical labor of the day was finally done. But the mental labor, the quiet burden of keeping a small farm financially alive, was just beginning. Alex had dragged himself to the cluttered desk in the corner of the living room. A half-empty cup of bitter green tea, brewed hours ago, sat growing cold beside the laptop. Alex is a man who shows his deep love for his family through relentless physical action. Repairing the tin roof and turning heavy soil until his back aches, he trusts his own physical strength. Unfortunately, he also blindly trusts the big professional suppliers we've bought from for years. When a digital invoice arrives with a neat, automated total, his exhausted brain just wants to clear the red notification and go to sleep. But tonight, Tuna had quietly pulled up a wooden stool beside him. Recently, she has taken on the daunting task of reviewing our digital expenses. It is an unnatural environment for her. She types slowly, carefully hunting for keys, and the harsh glare of the screen often gives her headaches. Yet her meticulous nature, honed by years of frugal household management, of measuring exact grams of flour to stretch a meager meal, of carefully patching Henry's torn clothes, is her hidden superpower. Right now, in the quiet living room, that superpower is causing friction. Alex sighs heavily, shifting his weight in the creaking chair. He rubs his temples, the fine dust of the fields still clinging to his hairline. "It's the exact same supplier as always, Na," he whispers, his voice thick with fatigue. "Let's just pay it. We have to be up at 4 in the morning to start the water pumps." Tuna doesn't argue. Instead, she gently takes the warm plastic mouse from his hand. She leans forward, tracing the digital lines with her rough index finger, reading every itemized charge, one by agonizing one. The slow, rhythmic blink of the cursor seems to mock Alex's desperate exhaustion. For a bone-tired husband, true care often looks infuriatingly tedious. But Tuna knows something he has forgotten in his fatigue. True frugality requires immense, stubborn patience, especially when the modern world is designed to make you rush. She ignores his plea, keeping her dark eyes glued to the screen, slowly scrolling down toward the shipping fees. The cursor blinks steadily on row number 14. Miscellaneous freight, Zone B. The amount listed next to it is substantial, but buried so neatly among 30 other lines of seed costs, fertilizer bulk rates, and seasonal discounts that a tired eye would naturally glide right past it. Tuna's finger stops moving along the edge of the monitor. In the heavy quiet of the house, the only sound is the rhythmic metallic hum of the small desk fan trying to push the stifling night air around the room. She doesn't say anything yet. She just stares at the row, a tiny furrow deepening between her brows. Alex, sensing her hesitation, leans closer. His patience is fraying, wearing thin against the physical ache in his lower back and his heavy shoulders. Then, from the next room, the fragile silence shatters. It starts as a soft whimper, quickly escalating into the sharp, distressed cry of a child waking up disoriented in the dark. Little Henry is awake. The sound hits both of them instantly. Alex pushes his chair back, the wooden legs scraping loudly against the floorboards. He is half standing, his protective instinct instantly overriding his profound exhaustion. He looks at the glowing laptop, then at Tuna, his voice tight with desperation. "Nah, please," he says, a pleading edge to his tone. He's crying. "Just hit approve. We'll sort out any pennies later. We need to go to him right now." The pressure in the room suddenly feels suffocating. It is the invisible, crushing weight of shared burdens, the constant, agonizing pull between immediate comfort and long-term security. Approving the invoice means the immediate relief of sleep. It means picking up their frightened son, holding him tight, and returning to the quiet sanctuary of rest. Tuna freezes. Her hand hovers delicately over the plastic mouse. She looks toward the dark doorway of Henry's bedroom, her maternal instinct screaming at her to abandon the desk and run to him. Then she looks back at the cold screen. The corporate numbers seem to blur together. It would be so easy to give in. It would be so easy to trust the system, to assume the automated software knows better than a village wife. She slowly pulls her hand away from the mouse. She shakes her head, her jaw setting into a firm, undeniable line. She refuses to click. Without a word to Alex, Tuna stands up and walks swiftly into the dark bedroom. Through the open doorway, Alex watches her sit on the edge of the small wooden bed. She doesn't pick Henry up. She simply places her rough, familiar hand firmly on his chest, patting him in a slow, steady rhythm. Within moments, the panicked crying subsides into soft, rhythmic breathing under the mosquito net. She tucks the thin cotton blanket around his small shoulders, ensuring his safety, and then immediately turns back to the living room. When she sits back down at the desk, something in her posture has fundamentally shifted. The hesitation is completely gone. She ignores the slick, built-in calculator application on the laptop screen. Instead, she opens the bottom drawer of the desk, pushing aside loose pens and rubber bands, and pulls out her battered old paper roll calculator. The keys are faded from years of calculating grocery budgets, market prices, and the exact cost of Henry's school supplies. She grabs a torn piece of lined notebook paper and a stubby pencil. This is the hidden power of what you might call the beginner's eye. When you have run a farm for years, like Alex, you start to navigate administrative tasks on autopilot. You trust the glossy software. You rush through the digital forms because the real, tangible work is out in the dirt. But when you introduce a partner who is deeply, fiercely protective of the family's survival and who is entirely unimpressed by fancy corporate formatting, they see exactly what you don't. The room fills with the sharp, deliberate clack, clack, clack of the old calculator keys. Tuna is physically transferring the digital world back into her lived reality. She types in the base cost. Clack. She types in the tax, clack. She manually isolates the miscellaneous freight line, writing the numbers down on her torn scrap of paper in tight, precise columns. Alex stands quietly behind her, watching the stubby pencil move. The frustration drains out of him, replaced by a slow dawning realization of what she is actually doing. He sees the thick calluses on her fingers pressing the faded plastic keys. He realizes that she isn't fighting him, she is fighting for them. She isn't relying on a computer's algorithm. She is relying on the exact same meticulous instinct she uses to ensure the family has enough rice to last until the next harvest. The math begins to reveal its ugly truth on the torn paper. The gap between the supplier's automated total and Tuna's handwritten column grows wider with every deliberate keystroke. Tuna firmly presses the heavy equals button. The old paper roll calculator clatters loudly in the stillness, spitting out the final undeniable total. She taps the handwritten sum on her scrap of paper with the dull tip of her pencil, then points a firm, dirt-stained finger directly at the glowing monitor. "Look here," she says softly, her voice steady and clear. She traces the invisible path of the numbers. There it was, a hidden recurring overcharge buried deeply inside the Zone B shipping line. It was a duplicated freight fee, a lazy, invisible error generated by the supplier's automated billing system, an error that had been silently compounding. Alex leans down, resting his heavy hands on the back of her chair. His face is inches from the screen, his eyes darting frantically between the glossy corporate total and the scribbled, undeniable truth on the torn notebook paper. His exhaustion evaporates instantly, replaced by a sudden, wide-eyed shock. If he had clicked that green button just 10 minutes ago, they would have surrendered hundreds of hard-earned dollars to a computer glitch. To a massive corporation, it was merely a rounding error. But to their small family farm, it was the equivalent of an entire season's worth of premium fertilizer. The stifling tension in the small living room finally shatters. The heavy pressure of the day lifts, replaced by a profound washing wave of relief. Every dollar saved on this desk is a drop of sweat kept in the fields. A partner who deeply, personally cares about the survival of the family will always catch what a tired, trusting mind overlooks. Alex slowly exhales a breath he didn't realize he was holding, looking down at his wife with a deep, silent reverence. Alex reaches out, his rough, soil-stained fingers gently covering her smaller hand. He takes the mouse from her grip and slowly clicks the red X in the corner of the screen, closing the payment portal entirely. The harsh, unnatural glare of the corporate invoice vanishes. The gentle desktop background returns, and the warm, familiar shadows of the wooden house safely wrap around them once more. "You just saved us enough money to finally buy Henry that new, bigger bed," he whispers, his voice thick with genuine gratitude. Tuna absorbs the quiet weight of his words. She sits up, visibly straighter in the creaking office chair. The fatigue of the long day melts away from her shoulders, and a beautiful, deeply proud smile breaks across her face. The peaceful, healing rhythm of the farm returns to the room. Outside the bamboo window, the night breeze rustles the fruit trees, and this simple wooden house feels incredibly safe, anchored by their shared strength. The soft light of the monitor reflects in Tuna's tired but bright eyes. She is no longer just the wife reluctantly helping out with the confusing paperwork. Tonight, she has claimed her rightful place as the fierce financial gatekeeper of our home. We are reminded of a deeper truth. Building a happy life together isn't just about the heavy physical lifting in the dirt. It is about standing guard over what you've already grown. Tomorrow morning, they will call the supplier together, armed with nothing but a torn piece of notebook paper and undeniable proof. Because sometimes the strongest shield a family has isn't made of iron or wood. It is made of a mother's stubborn patience and a worn-out calculator. Have you ever caught a costly mistake just by trusting your gut? Tell us your story in the comments below. We read every single one. If you found a piece of your own family in our story tonight, please share this video with someone who helps carry your burdens.